Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Line TV. Welcome to a 5 talking points video after our 2-0 win over Fulham yesterday. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Rubens Loftus-Cheek and why I personally feel that he is ready and why we need to start looking at the positives surrounding the player instead of the things that the player can't do. I'm going to be talking about Marcus Alonso, I'm going to be talking about Pedro and what the future of the right wing position holds. I'm going to be talking about are we creating enough chances for our strikers? And to end things, I'm going to be talking about why Sarri is completely right with how he's using Kante in the system. But you guys, if you like what I do and you support the content, smash that like button, help me get more than 500 likes for today's video, and press the bell notification button as well to stay tuned to all things Blue Line TV. But anyway, moving straight into the first talking point, I've got to talk about that main man, Rubens Loftus-Cheek, and I'm going to sound a bit pessimistic, I can't help it, but you guys know I like to overthink things, but I've got this niggling thought in the back of my head that if Ross didn't sustain that injury, Sarri might not have picked Rubens for the squad, and he might not have made the bench, and he wouldn't have come on and got that goal. And I still personally feel that Sarri still holds reservations in regards to Rubens and his abilities off the ball, and his work tactically as well. Now, the one thing that Barkley does, yes, even though Barkley isn't really winning 50-50s, let's be serious, his defensive rate isn't as amazing. What he does really well is the fact that he understands where his positionings need to be. Now, when it comes to the Sarri system, Chalobah said it himself in a podcast. He said that it took him very long to get used to the tactical demands that Sarri instills on the players, and that's due to the fact that, imagine that there's a lot of imaginary lines on the pitch. Now, Sarri wants his players from each position to be in certain areas when we're trying to press, when we're off the ball, etc, etc. And that's a very complicated thing. Now, because they use this type of tactical system more in Italy, most Italian players are more suited and understand this idea of football much quicker compared to guys who aren't really used to that type of football. And I personally feel that when Sarri was talking about Rubens, he wasn't talking about the fact that he's not getting as many 50-50 tackles. No, he's talking about he's not understanding where to be in position. Now, Sarri was very impressed with Rubens' performance, especially against PAOK, where he felt that that was his best game from a tactical point of view, which I do agree with. And I think a lot of you guys do as well, because so many people were commenting to the fact that Rubens looked very good off the ball and he looked very good defensively. But still, you might be thinking to yourself, Nini, we get it, but what's the point you're trying to make? And my point is, I feel that we should appreciate the things Rubens can do with the ball compared to things he can't do. Now, whenever people praise Rubens, they constantly like to remind him of the things he can't perfect just yet in his game. And when I look at the performances of guys like Cover and Ross, I look at how porous and susceptible we are down that left-hand side where Marcus Alonso isn't able to get back. But where does that support come from Cover or from Ross? You don't really see that, yet they seem to get a pass when it comes to manners such as this. And is Rubens really that much worse compared to them? I'm not too sure. I mean, you look at the benefits he provides to the team, an actual goal threat which we don't really get. He has that link-up play over Cover as well as the goal threat over Ross. Plus, when he's running with the ball, he really helps us, particularly when it comes to our transitions. He's amazing at that. I think he's one of the best players in our club at helping us transition the ball alongside guys like, Hazard and Willian. And when I see him play, he just has this aura and confidence about himself. And from reading his press conference statements, he feels this confidence inside himself. It's oozing out of him. He knows he's a great player. He's really taken on board to the tactical demands of Sarri. And I'm hoping that Sarri is going to be a bit more lenient with Rubens. And I think that Sarri should be more lenient with him because he is an amazing talent offensively that helps us in the game, because whenever Rubens plays, look how he influences the game. I'm not talking about him just going on pointless dribbles that end up doing nothing. He actually influences the game. He's created a lot of things where he creates like the pre-assist, that run he made created the space for someone to be available in to receive a pass. That's the type of stuff that Rubens brings. And in that sense, it's kind of what Hazard brings to the team. And I feel like when I look at teams like Man City, they don't just have one Eden Hazard, they've got tons. I feel that for us to really be that main team offensively, we're going to have to rely on the attacking set of our players. I think over time, yes, they will get better. Let's not forget this is kind of like a transition year. We're not expected to win the title just yet. And I think because of this, we should be a bit more lenient with Rubens because he can provide things to the team that we desperately need. And if you give this guy just a year to improve on the tactical side of the game, by next season when we're really trying to go for the title and win things, he's going to be a much more complete, better player for that. And I'm really hoping that Sarri is going to take the risk and believe in Rubens Loftus-Cheek. But in the comment section below, you guys, give me your thoughts and opinions. Do you think I'm talking nonsense? Do you agree with me? Let me know below. Now moving on to the second talking point, and that's in regards to Marcos Alonso. Now, before I talk about him, I think I need to provide some context. Now, I wasn't actually at the game, so I missed out on a lot of things that happened during it, but it seems now that Alonso's performance was affected by the chants made by Fulham fans. Now, I'm not going to be talking about my perspective on the Alonso incident. In my personal opinion, I think that it's a very tragic story for the victim's family. Of course, it affected everyone's life once that grave mistake did happen. And I want to be respectful, I don't want to start hypothesizing about what happened. I'm not here to defend Alonso, I'm not some blind fanboy. I don't think any of us would hurt as much as Alonso for the incident that he created. But even though his performance was probably affected by the chants made by the Fulham fans, I still don't think that detracts from the overall weakness down that left-hand side when he does play. So I've explained the context, so I hope you understand where I will be going with this conversation point. But I'm starting to think now that we need the top fullbacks. Yes, I've spoken about this beforehand, even before yesterday's performance. It's not the first time that we've seen poor delivery down that left-hand side from Marcos Alonso. It's not the first time we've seen him slow down Eden Hazard. How often have you seen Hazard drift all the way wide to be able to bring Alonso into the game in the final third? Alonso's not going to be the fullback that's going to carry the ball and beat a man to put across, and he's not really going to get down that byline. He's not really going to produce those drag back crosses. And as we keep saying with this overall game, he constantly makes those infield runs every single time. Yes, I know that's like a trademark of his game, but I think to really do the system justice, we need a very dependable fullback, left back, who is able to really keep his positions wide and really provide that threat out wide, because I'm always saying this all the time, if you've got that main threat out wide, that means that Hazard doesn't constantly have to drift out wide and not affect the game in those central areas. We can't afford for that to happen. Look at how Sterling and Mahrez and Silva and other guys like that play when they're playing for Man City. They're constantly making those infield runs where they're getting onto things, and this was how Hazard was scoring goals at the start. At the start of the season, he was making those infield runs, he was getting on the end of things, he was being that outlet for the attacks. Since then, it looks like he's been pushed out wide even more. He's not really affecting the game as much, and I don't want to see this anymore because I've seen this happen with Conte and Mourinho. Hazard's our best player. If we get the best out of this guy, he could really make and define our entire season. That's how good he is. I don't think Alonso is that complementary figure down that left-hand side. He really isn't. I think for us to really do justice to the system, we're going to have to strongly think about really getting the fullbacks needed. I'm not too sure about this, to be honest, with Alonso signing a new contract, I have to be close to that as well. Do these guys really complement this style of football fully? I'm not too sure. In the comment section below, you guys, give me your thoughts and opinions. Now moving on to the third talking point, that's in regards to Pedro and that right-hand side. Now, as I was saying earlier, and as you can see with the title, I personally feel that Pedro should be the guy that plays on the right-hand side. It's not even because he's like 10 times the player Willian is, it's because he complements the play. I think with his ability to make runs in behind, his ability to use his left foot and cut inside, we get that goal threat from the right-hand side that we don't tend to get when Willian plays there. Now, yes, I say this point every single time, we understand the context. Willian does much better down that left-hand side and in the middle where he can cut inside on his strongest foot to take shots. That's the type of player Willian is. The right-hand side, he can't really do that, but with someone like a Pedro on the right, with his ability to differentiate his game, he can run with the ball and cut inside, he can make runs in behind, he can drop deeper to allow the fullbacks to push further up. They're the type of options you get, and when Pedro plays, our play does not look slow down that right-hand side. Now, is Pedro the answer forever? Of course not. I think in the context of this season, he makes sense to pursue with that. But I really think that Pedro shows us what type of team we can be once we really upgrade and look for players in that position. Yes, we are looking for players who play down that right-hand side, so the club are actively doing that. It's interesting to see what could happen with the targets the club are looking at. But this is the type of attacking balance we really need. I think that, yes, even though Sarri likes his teams to attack more down that left-hand side, the quality still needs to be there down the right-hand side. I don't really think it's there just yet. As I've said, if you don't have the right fullback or the right winger, it puts a lot of creative burden on Kante unfairly. And let's be serious, Kante's not playing in that role for his creativity. He'll get better at that naturally, but he's really there for the possession turnovers to really help us with our pressing and what we do with the ball in the final thirds. As I constantly say all the time, I think this season's going to be very similar to the 13-14 season where we were very close, you could see the potential, but we all knew as fans that next year was going to be the year we really started to do things. I think that next season is going to be the case. I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's really interesting to see where we can improve tactically, how we can improve the team, and what type of new level we can potentially reach in the future. Moving on to the fourth talking point, that's in regards to N'Golo Kante. And yes, as we've already known already, Sarri knows what he's doing with him. That game against Fulham really let us know why Kante is in this team. The way we got the first goal came from him winning back possession very cleanly, because that's one of the rare things Kante can do. He can win back possession without giving away fouls. And most times when Kante does give away a foul, it's because it's a tactical one he's doing on purpose. Whenever we look at Kante, look at him as the ultimate support player. Now, we actually had a very similar support player a few years ago. His name was called Michael Ballack. Now, Michael Ballack had to play that support role to guys like, Essien and Lampard playing in that more advanced role. It was very beneficial for the team because he was that constant passing option which you need if you are keeping the ball and keeping possession. He did the defensive work, he supported all areas of the pitch whenever players needed support in their areas, and he was key defensively. And we've got one of the most perfect players when it comes to this, and that is Kante. I personally feel that when it comes to next season, we'll be seeing an even better player on the ball. I think with a lot of these limitations people think he has, I think they're mostly to do with confidence, because he's always been that defensive fulcrum in his teams, and he hasn't really been given that license to express himself offensively, so that is going to take him time to get over that routine. But Sarri knows what he's doing, Kante is going to get better, and it's this typical thing in football of there being no patience, We need time in football, players do improve, they do get better. We've been at Chelsea, we've seen tons of players improve over the years. Terry, Lampard, Drogba, key examples. Did these guys all start off as world-class talents? No. Every year they improve, got better at certain things in their game. For example, Lampard learning how to use his head and scoring from that, Drogba being the most complete forward I've ever seen, etc, etc. And to end on the final point, that's in regards to whether we actually create enough for our forwards. Now, it's a very difficult situation. We don't have that world-class striker this system really needs to really take us to another level, to really boost those percentages up. With Giroud, I really sympathise with the guy yesterday because he wasn't getting any service. Now, we like to constantly criticise our strikers for missing opportunities. Yes, that happens a lot. I'm not trying to dismiss that or downplay that. But a lot of times, we don't criticise the team for failing the final balls in the area. For example, there are times where these guys do make the right runs. For example, with Giroud, he was constantly in decent positions against Fulham, but then teammates around him kept failing with the wrong passes or hitting them too short or not producing from crosses. And it's like, one of Giroud's main areas is his aerial ability. If you're reducing that because you can't put a cross in the box, you're really going to limit what he can provide and his goal threat as well. But another thing I think as well is the fact that I don't think our strikers or our team actually trust each other. I feel that certain times players won't make the right pass. I'm looking exactly at Willian. I feel Willian's the type of player where if he sees it's a Morata, he might be thinking, well, I don't think you're going to do anything with this. I'm going to take the responsibility myself. I think he can be a bit too selfish, especially when he does come on, so it can be frustrating for the strikers. And at the same time, if the strikers are in a good position, then they're not getting that service they need quickly enough to try and do something. And it's kind of like the chicken and egg situation. What comes first, we don't really know. But if anything, I do think to really get over this, wholesale change will be needed. We're going to see that next season, I understand that. All you guys already understand that as well. A process is happening, we need to be patient. But in the comment section below, you guys, I know that a lot of you will have your thoughts and opinions on this point. Let me know them below. You guys, that's going to be the end for today's 5 talking points video. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV, signing out.